Ed, you're muted.
Okay. Welcome everybody to Monday morning Google Apps class. We're going to focus on Google Drive this week. We're not going to focus so much on the collaboration part or the cloud storage part. The video we just watched, the Martin Shervington tutorial, broke Google Drive into 4 parts. So in California, Victoria, what's one of the 4 parts that were in that tutorial?
I could hardly hear it.
Okay. How about, is Dennis there?
No, Dennis is gone.
Dennis is done. Oh, wow. Okay. Well, what are one of the somebody tell me one of the 4 parts of that tutorial we just watched?
Storage. Phyllis said cloud storage.
Cloud storage, right. So if we go on the C's, they all started with the C. So one was cloud storage. What was the second one?
Collaboration.
Collaboration. Okay, that was number 3, but that's fine. What's another one?
Communication.
Communication.
Create.
And create. Okay. So this week, we're not going to spend so much time on the cloud storage. That's pretty self-explanatory. All of your documents are stored on the cloud. Anywhere you have access to the internet, anywhere you can get onto your account, your Gmail account, you can get all of your files. It's a great tool. We're not going to focus so much on communication because that's pretty straightforward. Once you have a document created, or once you're looking at a document, it's easy to share that document with other people. And you just have to decide who you want to share with and to what extent you want them to be able to share. Can they view, can they edit, etc. Can they comment on it? And how do you let people know? You can let them know through what? What's one way to let people know you want to share? Email. What's another way?
Hangout.
Through Hangouts, through Circles, through Google+. You can post that you want to share a document through those things. This week, we are mainly going to focus on creation. And we're not going to focus so much on creating documents or spreadsheets, because those are pretty easy. The one note that you need to make sure of, and Martin Shervington did it, but he didn't stress it, and that is, what is the first thing you should do when you create a document? Right, create the title. Name the document. It's very easy to forget doing that because in Google Docs you don't ever have to save. If you're creating something in Word, for example, and you click the Save button, the very first time you click the Save button, what could happen? Or should happen?
Ask the question.
Save as what?
What's the name?
Yeah.
Okay. What is the name of the document? And so you don't have to remember, oh, I have to initially save this document. In Google Docs, first thing you should do, get in the habit of click on where it says Untitled Document. Because otherwise what's going to happen is you're going to look at your drive and you're going to find all kinds of documents named Untitled Document. And then it's not really going to be easy, or as easy as it should, to go and find the document you want, because they're all going to be called Untitled Document. Under the cloud storage, Martin Shervington also made a point to show how easy it was to find documents. How did he say to do that? In California. In your drive, what is the easy way to find documents?
Put in your little search.
Right. So, Google's still primary claim to fame is Google Search. So every application they have, search is built in. So you can always find, well, Google is the best way to find files that you have. You can do it in Microsoft Office, but if you're trying to find a file in Microsoft Word, How do you do that?
Go to Word.
Well, you're
Pull it
in
up.
Word, but now you need to find a file.
Press File.
Okay, you press file, but you don't know the name of the file.
You got to search up and down the thing. That's what I do.
No. Okay. There is a search box in Office when you push Open, or when you're looking for it, up in the upper right-hand corner is a little tiny Omni box that has a magnifying glass. And you can click on that and put in what you want, but it's not as obvious, it's not as good as it is in Docs. So this week we're going to focus primarily on creating documents, or on the create part, not on creating documents. Creating documents is straightforward. As I said, first thing to make sure you do is to create a title for the document. What we're going to work on tomorrow is creating forms. Okay, in California, is Vicente there? Or Fernando?
Yes.
Okay. Fernando's there?
Yes, both of them are here.
Good. So can somebody in California tell us how would you describe a form, a Google Docs form or a Google form?
Would it be like a template?
Fernando said it would be like a template.
Okay. Well, it's called forms because it looks like a form. You create something that looks like a form where people put in the answers, right? There's question, and then they fill in the box. And for the people in California who have created a form, what does the output look like? In other words, once it's saved, where does it go?
To the cloud?
Does anybody know?
Cloud?
Well, it's stored on the cloud. But what is it? Where do you get it? What does it look like when you get it?
Like a
Anybody in California? What is it? What?
A spreadsheet.
Correct. It looks like a spreadsheet. It is a spreadsheet. You can download it into Excel. But if anybody knows Microsoft Access, what is Microsoft Access? Who knows? Not really. What's Access?
The database.
It's a database, right?
Yeah.
If you look at a Microsoft Access file, it also looks like a spreadsheet. Okay? So Forms is really a database application. It's a way to create a database. And here we create forms a lot of times for tests, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, in business, let's say you work in a doctor's office. What kind of a form might you create for a doctor's office?
Bill.
Billing and quotations.
Patient information. Well, let's start when the patient walks in the door.
No, you fill out all his information, his insurance, all that.
Okay, what happens when you walk in a doctor's office right now? What's the very first thing you do?
Yeah.
You sign in.
Yeah.
Okay, and what does the sign-in look like today? For anybody who goes to the doctor.
That's not
You
fair.
walk in, it's just sign your name.
Some people have a computer.
So mostly,
You sign your name.
it's a clipboard,
You sign your name.
and you sign in.
That's it.
And does anybody ever wonder what do they do with these pieces of paper?
Peel it off and do something with
Put them in the
it.
trash somehow, right?
I don't know. I don't know if they throw the pieces of paper away at the end of the day. I don't know if they get a 3-hole punch out. They punch them, and then they put them in a binder that says, here's who came in.
Not these days. They
Okay, maybe they scan them.
That's part of a paper trail.
They photocopy
I doubt that
it.
they microfiche
They
now.
photocopy your name, your signature, and use it for your banking, for their own banking.
Well, I don't think they do that
I'm
for.
just joking.
I think they probably scan stuff now.
Yeah.
Okay, so does anybody think that 10 years from now, or 20 years from now, that there'll be little pieces of paper on clipboards that you have to sign
It'll be
in?
like UPS. You sign your name on a screen.
You want to do, you got to put in your number, your name.
So why do you think they still have clipboards in doctor's offices,
People
and you
probably
have to
feel
sign
more
in.
comfortable
Let's
with
hear it from California for a second. Okay, why in California? Why do they still? And we might have people there who know the answer to this. Why do they still have clipboards where you sign in at the doctor's office?
Let the doctor know the patient's there.
No, but why do they have clipboards? Not why do you sign in? Why do they have clipboards? And they say, please sign in, and can I have your insurance card?
Because they're comfortable with the patient.
What? What do they say in California?
One student said to keep records, another student said for your signature.
Okay, but why do they use a clipboard?
They don't know about it.
Okay.
To make you feel comfortable. How's that?
Okay. Okay. I think the reason they use clipboards is because they don't want to have to introduce a new level of technology, because a lot of people go to the doctor's office still are not really computer literate. But everybody knows how to write their name.
Yeah.
Okay? But as the years go by, people are going to say, A, oh, I got to write my name down. Why can't I just swipe my card?
Yeah.
Okay? And say I'm here. B, they're going to say, you know, I don't really like all of the rest of the people coming in today to see that I was here. Right? There's no privacy when you have a clipboard. Right? You see who else is signed in.
Names get peeled off. Those names get peeled off when patient signs in.
What?
There's a peel off. You get peeled off and put an X in there.
My doctor doesn't do that. Okay, so they're starting to move to a more elaborate way of signing in. So one form that could be created is just a very simple form, and there could be a little tablet up at the counter, please sign in, and it's a Google form. You sign in, the person puts in their name, they can swipe their card or not swipe their card, just put in their name. And one of the things that happens on forms, which we'll see tomorrow, is it creates a timestamp. The second they say enter or submit, boom, you know exactly what time they did it. So that's always a good thing, because you can't get around that. When I go into the doctor's office and I have to put in time, what do you think in California when it says time? What goes through your mind?
The round closest.
In California, Scott. Pledge. Remember the pledge? Left, right hand.
In there.
Okay, what goes through your mind when you have to enter the time? What if you're 2 minutes late? What do you put down for time?
Accurate.
Do you put the actual time, or do you put the time you were supposed to be there?
Supposed to be there.
Okay. What if the person above you put in the time that is not really the right time, and it's actually earlier than the time that they signed in?
I don't pay attention to what they sign.
Okay, so Dodie says you should put your appointed time, not the actual time. Anyway, these problems disappear with the form.
Yeah.
Okay, you don't have to ask the people what time it is, because you already know what time it is. Or you don't need to know. The system is going to know, and it's going to keep track. And it's like an independent thing for chain of custody. You don't know it was actually the person who signed in. You just know that at that particular time, somebody who said they were that person signed in. And you would say, well, the person at the desk swiping the card, they're going to verify that if it's supposed to be Malika, that this is actually Malika who's here for the appointment. It's not her sister who's trying to sneak in on her insurance, right? So that's one way in a doctor's office a form comes in handy. Right when they walk in the door, boom, here's a simple form to fill out. And it goes to a database. Once it's in a database, what can you do with it? In California, what can you do with something that's in a database?
Get information from it, put it where it needs to
Create
apply.
reports. Create a report out of the information from the database.
Okay.
Gather
Okay.
about your
Yeah. Well, I think what else can you do? You can create a report. What else? It's already filed. You can't file it. It's filed. Okay, what else can you do? Okay, well, you can share it. Now you have this database created. Can you find particular records? Can you do a search?
Yeah.
You can do a search. Now, let's say it's back the old clipboard way, and you want to find out whether I went to the doctor last Wednesday. What do they have to do?
Look in the file.
Yeah, go get the binder, whatever it is, do it, and then flip through to find that date, then scan down to see whether my name is on there. On a database, all you have to do is enter a query, a search. Okay, and then it'll come up with every time that person was there. What else can you can do a query? What else can you do with the database?
Find out what ones are allergic to or what are.
Well, let's just focus on the database of the clipboard, the sign-in database. What else can you do? You can sort, right? So you can find things and you can sort things. You can sort by column. In other words, so if it's a spreadsheet, if you picture an Excel spreadsheet, it has a bunch of columns. Everything that's in the column should be related to everything, should be the same type of thing that's in a column, in that column. This row, the next row, everything is consistent with whatever that is. So it could be last name, first name. So you could sort your database in alphabetical order by last name. You can sort in reverse alphabetical order. You can sort in alphabetical order by first name. You can sort by time and day. You can sort by, if you had a form that said, are you here to see which doctor? Who's the doctor you're here to see? You can sort by doctor. You can sort by any field that's on that form. Yeah, and so to that point, if people, to me, the ideal doctor's office is you walk in, you go to the front desk, there's a stack of templates there, there's a thing with templates and a charging stand, you walk in, you grab one, it has a card swipe on it, you swipe it, and then it asks you a little bit of information about why you're there today. Are you here for an appointment? How do you feel? Are you drinking 8 glasses of water a day? Are you taking your fish pills, your low-dose aspirin? What are you doing? And so when the doctor then goes in and she's sitting there in the exam room, she can pull up your records and not have to waste time asking you questions, and everything is nice and neatly documented.
But they do that anyways.
Which part?
My doctor's all computerized, and they everything in. And
right. So what we're talking about is you putting the information, or you putting some of the information.
It doesn't matter who puts it in. They're very.
No, it does.
They're very redundant with that stuff.
Okay, but why does it matter who puts it in?
Why does it matter if you give them the information if they're going to ask you?
Because it takes time. They can be more productive. The more they can get you to do, the less they have to do, right?
Okay.
And when I go to my doctor, you know how he types? Like this. He doesn't type like this. He doesn't type like Larson students. Okay? He's one thing at a time. And so I think in the future, more of this stuff will be automated. Forms is the way that it's going to happen. Now, not necessarily Google Forms, but it's going to be a database thing, and it's going to be a form. Google has a very good, simple, easy way to create forms. And tomorrow, we will be creating a form on some particular subject. I don't know what the subject is yet, but we've done this a lot of times in the past. We'll come up with the topic, and everybody creates a form, or we'll break into some groups, and everybody creates a form, and somebody ends up getting a Starbucks card out of the deal. So, yeah, well, here it would be the beat, or the other beat. So, on the Google Drive, the tutorial we saw, so we've got about 7 minutes, the tutorial we saw broke Google Drive down into 4 parts. Cloud storage, which is what most people think of it as with the name Drive. And it's a very powerful thing. Let's scroll down. So who's on Drive? Scroll down to the bottom. Look at the bottom left-hand corner and tell me how many gigabytes of storage do you have?
I have 101.66.
Not saved.
Oh,
How many gigs do you have?
I have
15?
1.6, 15 gigabytes.
Okay, so Google gives you 15 gigabytes. On the paid version, you get 30. So I have 30 gigabytes.
How many have we used?
Well, on yours, it shows you how many.
I've already used.
Oh, how many have I used?
15%.
Not a lot. Only 10.85.
I don't know how I am. How you
I've used
Now,
0 gigabytes
With
out of 15.
Sherry keeps the records, a lot of records for the school, so we upgraded and she has 100 gigabyte storage, or maybe it's 150. And so all of the records that we do, Sherry just spends a lot of time scanning things. A lot of stuff we do is records are stored on the cloud. And if you are a school that has multiple campuses, it makes it easy.
Yeah.
Because over in California, Rose can do a lot of things for students here. Stephanie does things for students here of creating your initial Gmail account. That's possible because of the cloud. So Drive is fundamental. Storage is the fundamental part of Drive, and Google makes it very powerful. How do we know it's secure compared to a small company? How do we know that Google Drive is secure? Okay. Okay. Now, has anybody heard of this little organization called the NSA?
Yeah.
Okay. So all of these companies, all Microsoft, Yahoo, Google, Facebook, all of these companies got a little bit of egg on their face, or a lot of egg on their face, because they were sharing information with the government, but they didn't tell everybody. Hey, whatever emails you send, we might be sending that to the government because the government requests us to do that. There was a big uproar, and this was Edward Snowden's big thing, right? Is he released information saying the government is spying on everybody. And so whatever Google is doing, everyone else is doing too. Google is one of the companies that is starting to say, no, we're not going to do it, or we're going to let our customers, our subscribers know that we are doing it. And then it's their decision to whether they want to post or save something or use our service to do that. So is Google secure? Well, the good news is Google is a very large, profitable company. Why are they very large and profitable? This goes under Common Sense 101. In California, Fernando, why is Google large and profitable?
They come up with a lot of apps. I think they're very large. They're very large because they've become very accessible. They have a lot of.
Okay, well, yeah, you're on the right track. We've only got a couple minutes. They're large and profitable because people like them and use them. Well, but it's because they work.
Oh, right.
Okay, this
Or
is
they're
in.
doing something that no one else is doing.
Well, a lot of people do what Google does. They are innovative, but a lot of people do it, or Google might do it, and they say, well, we can do it better. But the fact is, Google is large because it works. A lot of other companies started out, they got a lot of big promotion and et cetera, but people didn't buy it. Yes, Mary?
Company buys it, what's the cost of it?
$5 per subscriber per month, which is very inexpensive based upon what you get. So let's see, Saturday, I was in a meeting at Panera, and in came Rick, the homeless philosopher from Boulder City, who we have a video of. And we started talking to him, but I had to go, so I didn't get him on tape, and he was reluctant at first. And so, but his theme on Saturday was businesses that are successful are good because, and he was talking about Panera, because you can voluntarily do it. You don't have to go to Panera. The government is bad because it works on coercion. You know, he was a little bit more dramatic. He said they put a gun at your head. You don't have a choice. You have to do what the government says. And so the government doesn't have to be efficient. But for our purposes, can we trust Google? Can we depend upon Google? Well, in terms of security things, they're not different than any other company. So it's not like we can do this, and because they're better than Google in that area. Everybody is the same at that level. But we can trust Google because they're large, and they're large because people like Google. And because people like Google, Google continues to do what they do. So they reinvest a lot of the money that they generate back into new apps, which is why they have stuff and why they're changing stuff all the time. You know, for Skype, for example, as I said earlier, Google has made an announcement they're going to be changing voice this week. Well, voice is like Skype. Skype doesn't have the ability to say, you know, we have just decided we're going to change our whole business. We're going to call it Hype or something, whatever they're going to do. They can't do that because that's their basic business. Google has the ability and the willingness to say, you know what, we've improved voice, we've improved it so good, it doesn't even need to be a standalone. We're going to bring it into Hangouts. We'll find out on the 15th what they're going to do. Yes, Marion?
Does Google have a good security?
Yes, that's part of why people use it, because it works. Now, in California, we've got a couple minutes. What questions can we help you with there? What can we answer for you?
Well, my question, my dumb question is that once we put it in a drive, does anybody else have access to it? No, they don't.
Okay, so that somebody needs to repeat that louder.
Phyllis asked the question. She said, once you put something on your drive, does anyone have access to it? And I told her no.
Correct.
But if you were to share it with that person, then yes, they will have access.
Okay, so now that is a very good question. And so the starting answer is, if you put it on your drive, the only people that can see it are people you shared it with. However, you can create a shared folder. Like here in Las Vegas, we have a shared folder called what, Scott?
LTCLV.
Okay, wrong. Right, one LTCLV.
Okay.
And that's a shared folder. Any file that I put in that folder is automatically shared. So if I'm not paying attention or I make a mistake and I create a document and I put it in that folder, that's shared. So any document you create is visible to people you share it with. If you share it with no one, it's visible to no one other than you. If you share it with the world, it's visible to the whole world. Okay, what else? Any other questions in California? Okay, so tomorrow we are going to create a form. And let's see, I'll probably talk to Crystal and Stephanie to see whether we should break in groups or do the first form where everybody does their own. But we're going to create a form, and I'll think of the topic for the form, and then everybody creates a form quickly. One of the rules I'll talk about tomorrow is you cannot make any spelling or punctuation errors. There's no excuse.
On the form?
Got the spelling.
Okay, so you will see tomorrow what usually happens is everyone loses points because they misspell or have improper grammar.
When you misspell, it automatically spell checks it.
Okay,
Right.
You'll see. We'll see tomorrow. Okay, thank you in California. We'll pick this up tomorrow. Google Forms is very fun. Thank you. Bye.
Can I ask a question now?
Yes.